Welcome
to Columbia,
Conversations.
where you get the most conversations out of Columbia College.
Yeah, here we are. If you're tuning in for the first time, which
This is the first time.
you are, this is episode 0 of a new experiment that we're doing here, a podcast at Columbia College, run by students. Us. We should introduce ourselves at this point.
My name is Steve Ingleborda, and this is my co-host, Arman.
Arman Abu Saidi, otherwise known as Speedo.
And I'm known as Steve-O.
Steve-O and Speedo, here we are. They gave us a podcast. Well, they didn't really give it to us.
We took it.
We took it. Yeah, so here we are. We have a podcast. It's called Columbia Conversations, if you missed it.
If you missed it,
Mhm.
and we are a branch of the Columbia College newspaper.
Yeah. Newspaper Club, which, funnily enough, is what this episode is all about.
It's all about the newspaper
Yeah.
club. Newly formed, officially a club.
A club, very official. If you're at one of our meetings, we say things like, motion to pass. or
Second the
something.
motion.
Second the motion, yeah. Anyways, let's, Steve, talk about ourselves.
Yeah, let's do that. So, my name's Steve Ingleborda. Some people call me Stevie B, Steve-O, all that good stuff. This is one of many semesters at Columbia College. I've kind of lost track. But I am a communications major, which kind of feel like that's why we're doing the podcast as well. It just kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, this will be great for your resume, I think.
Right? Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, we got a spider on the mic stand. Come on, little buddy. Where'd you go? Oh, he's gone. Yeah, I'm a communications major. I plan to transfer after next semester. I'm going on a couple tours from a different couple campuses to see where I want to go, which campus kind of fits me. Yeah, I've had about 15 professional years of doing audio. I do audio at the game room. I do audio for a local church. I've done tons of recording, live sound, theater, love theater. Yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
You're a great guy to have helping me with a podcast. I mean, you should really see it in here, folks. We got mic cables,
All kinds of wires,
and boards and knobs.
soundboard, all kinds of
I'd be totally
expensive
lost.
microphones.
Expensive, fancy looking ones, very legitimate looking.
Yeah.
And without Steve, I don't think it'd be possible. I don't think I could.
Thank you,
set this
man. I
up.
appreciate
so we
that.
really appreciate having you on here.
I wouldn't have had the motivation to do it if it wasn't for Armand.
Yeah.
I just got this stuff laying around. I just know how to use it.
Yeah, so my name's Arman. If you don't know me, I am a music major here at Columbia College. I'm a student. I'm a student worker. I am an activist.
Yes.
I'm actively trying to have a podcast. That's my activism.
I dig it. I dig it.
And so I've gone here for a few years now. Started here in 2020, fall of 2020. So
That was during COVID. How was that? How was it already COVID when you started here, or were we already in lockdown and we were doing like the whole remote learning?
yeah.
Or were you here in person and then had to go remote?
No, I started remote.
Okay.
So I graduated from high school right as COVID was starting.
Oh no.
So I had most of my senior year normal, and then the very end of my senior year was distanced.
Okay, so how'd that affect your graduation?
It greatly affected it. We didn't necessarily have a traditional graduation, didn't walk. It was a drive-through.
That's kind of cool though. I mean,
It was nice that they
something.
tried. Like, it was like all the teachers were like in a line with like posters saying like "way to go," and we would drive by them and like wave to them and say hi. And then at the end of that line was like the principal or some person handing us a diploma. They take our picture. So like my graduation picture is me leaning out of like a 2000s 4Runner, like with my graduation cap being like.
That's pretty dope, though. That's
It was
like-
cool that they tried to do something at all. I think they were gonna do.
But
it
I mean,
was
that's
just-
a good story. That's a good graduation story too.
It is. It's certainly unique.
Yeah,
and not everyone could have had that experience. It's just funny the things they tried to do, like prom, for instance.
How'd that? Yeah,
Like,
how
let's
did
do a
that
prom
work?
on Zoom. I was like, no way I'm going to that.
You're all, dude. Yeah.
And I was in like drama, and they're like, we'll do the. We were like.
You're a
rehearsing
fellow
for
drama?
Yeah.
Fellow
Are you a drama?
thespian?
Are you a drama dude?
Yeah, man, I love drama. I've worked at a few different theaters. I've been in a couple of different plays. Actually made history when I lived in Oakland. I was in an all-black play, and me and this other dude were the first two Latino actors in an all-black casted play.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. There's some
Yeah.
history there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No.
I didn't realize you were a drama
Yeah,
kid.
we
too,
gotta
man.
we gotta talk later, man, about that. So like, you know, since we had most of that year in person, we were working on a musical, and then like so it had been cast and we'd been rehearsing for a while.
Oh, no.
We were about to start like full run throughs of the
Like Tech Week.
yeah,
Okay.
and then it got shut down.
No.
Yeah, and then they're like, we could do it on Zoom, and I was like, no, we're not gonna.
Can't
do
we
that.
just all mask up and do it? I don't know. Like,
yes, but back then it was like.
Oh yeah, it was very.
Like,
yeah.
even with masks, like only like 20 people could be in the theater at
Yeah,
once.
I remember that now. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that probably wouldn't have worked, huh?
but that was my high school. But then so coming into Columbia, fall 2020, it was all online. Like
So you started off as. So do you prefer online classes or in person?
personally, I
classes?
prefer in person.
Okay, same here.
It was pretty tough for me. Especially since that was my first intro to college. Like I know there were some people who may have started in like fall of 2019 where they got
Right.
like a year and then it was COVID, but for me it was straight into like peak distance learning, and it was really hard to get into college, so I kind of like wasn't doing great in my classes.
Oh, I totally understand that. That's I want to say my first semester here was in 2019, so I had all in-person classes, and then when COVID happened, I tried to do the transition, and the online. I still have trouble with online classes, so I dropped for a couple years. So that's why there's a huge gap in my semesters.
Yeah. But now that it's fully in person, I've been doing great in classes.
Same here.
I think the hardest thing about online was that sense of community wasn't there. I didn't know anyone in my classes. They were just icons and some text, and
100%.
I didn't feel super connected. It just felt like I was going to any college, anywhere.
Right.
I wasn't feeling like that unique Columbia community feel.
And we have a strong community on this campus.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, just all the departments, and just walking around campus now, and I just know half the administration and stuff, and the other half students.
So that's definitely what I think I was missing, and what helped me do better when I got here was that, I joined a club and I started meeting those people, and being in person, like I'd talk to the people, like before class started, we'd all like talk about the class. And personally, what really, really helped me was becoming a tutor, like a student, probably any kind of student worker, but
That's right. If you
Tutoring
guys need
specifically.
any tutoring, Armand is the man at the double AC. Come on down. I tutor electronic music,
Yeah.
but Armand has almost every subject under the belt.
not math or science, but a lot of the general ed classes, since I've been here so long, I can help you out with.
Yeah.
But so becoming a tutor really helped that. And I've switched my majors a few times. I feel like that's a very common story in community colleges,
You got to find what you love.
Yeah. And
You know what I mean?
got to try some stuff out.
And this is the place to figure it out
Yeah.
before you get to a big university. Yeah.
So, I started out psychology, and then I went to marine biology, and then finally I went to music, and that's what I've been really happy with. Really met a lot of musicians. Me and Steve met partly because of the music program here.
That's right. And you just played at the game room for Halloween, which was an amazing set.
It
too.
was.
It was a good
You
time.
guys should have been there. It
was a good
really
time.
hella people. All hella down.
It was a good night.
Yeah,
It was a fun night.
So that's me.
That's awesome, man. So how long have you been playing music, though?
Long time.
What'd you start off with? Like, what's your main instrument? What do you...
Well, now I play guitar pretty much exclusively.
Right.
If you see me...
I don't know. I've heard him on piano, too. If you hear a Beatles jam on piano, Armand's got it down.
Yeah, so mainly guitar, a little piano. I'm trying to get more into that as a music major and possible future music teacher. I feel like piano's a really good one to really just get.
Yeah.
I started with ukulele.
Wow, that's awesome.
Back in 2nd grade.
That's fun.
So I've been playing music for about 12 years now. And
that pretty much makes you a professional, because isn't it 10,000 hours or 10 years? I don't know. You're pretty good on guitar, man.
I'm pretty good at guitar.
And you got a good repertoire.
I do. Just because I love playing guitar all the time, you know, when I'm feeling sort of restless. A lot of the times when I'm restless and I'm like trying to watch a show, but I'm like
not into it,
and I can't focus on anything, and like maybe I have some assignment due, but I'm just trying to relax, grab the guitar, play my favorite songs.
Stress reliever, right?
It really helps me out, and then I can go back to whatever I was doing.
That's a good, man.
So I just play a lot of guitar because personally for me it's so enjoyable, so I spend a lot of time doing it.
I want to say when I saw you play at the game room, that was probably the biggest surprise, like how many songs you knew. And
just off the top of my head.
And how well you knew them.
I'm sort of a perfectionist when it comes to like
song. I was impressed. I mean, I knew, like, I'd heard you play and we jammed a couple times, but I was like, wow, man, like, he definitely has an it factor.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And now my next biggest project is this podcast.
Yes, and I feel like we're hitting the ground with traction this time.
Yes,
we did try another episode. Which, you know, we're working out the bugs and the kinks. And
you know what we should do sometime in the future when this is a huge podcast and everyone listens to it. We release the lost episode. the infamous lost
The real
episode.
fans will know about the lost
episode. We tried to do this. When did we record that? Like a month ago?
It was definitely over 2 weeks ago.
Certainly.
Just the whole month of October. With me being a sound guy, so many gigs.
Yeah.
So October was a blur.
Yeah. So we recorded an episode and
got super busy after that.
We were like, when are we going to release this thing? How are we going to release it?
Yeah.
You know, kind of behind the scenes on making a podcast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we did not anticipate
at all.
About
tons of bumps and hurdles in the road, but I feel like we've hit the ground running this time. We know what we're going to do with it, where it's going to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so what I want to talk about, Steve, is why we made this podcast and what we want this podcast to be.
Yeah, because I mean, basically, this is all your conception. What do you have in mind? What do you want? What made you want to start a podcast?
Well, it was that.
What started it? What kicked it off?
Well, so working at the AAC, you have a lot of downtime, sort of. If you're waiting for students to come in to see you, you're just sort of waiting in the AAC, and you're around a lot of other tutors. And, you know, you're all going to community college, you're learning a lot in classes, and you're sort of bored. Maybe you're trying to find something to do that's not homework, and you end up just talking to the tutors who are around you. And you know, in previous years, I've had such great conversations in just like a group of tutors just sitting there talking about, you know, a subject or talking about something they all learned. Like maybe they're all in the same science class and they're all talking about something. And so I'd always thought, like, think in my head, like, oh, that'd be so cool if we like did a podcast, because you know, podcasts are sort of popular right now.
Well, it's like you said, there's some great dialogue that happens at the AAC.
And one semester specifically, there was a 2D I had for biology, and we were just sort of the perfect like foils, like opposites of each other. You know, I was like the
odd couple.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. And we would just sit there, and like after our tutoring session, she'd just hang out, and we would just have these conversations. Yeah, from like
Columbia
conversations, same thing with two completely different perspectives, and we would just talk for like hours, and then, you know, everyone would just sort of sit around us and watch, and they're like, "You need a podcast," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So the other reason is just I want to build more of this sense of community here on campus. Like, for me, working at the AAC was what got me hooked, so to speak, on coming here and feeling sort of like a college student.
And I
as
gotta
part of my
say,
identity.
you hold a lot of pride at being a tutor.
I do.
And being in the AAC.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, like, you're one of the better tutors. I mean,
Thank
I'm
you.
not saying there's a bad tutor, but Armand knows what he's doing. I've even seen, because we've had a few classes together, and even if it's a new class, I've seen you help people, and it's the same stuff we just learned
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
So, you're good at it.
Thank you. And so I want this to be that for people who might not have enough time to be a student worker and like get into that.
Right.
People who maybe aren't on campus all the time because like
A lot of online learners.
yeah, who are just online or like for me when I first started coming here, I'd come to class. I lived in Angels Camp. I'd drive to Columbia, go to class, and then after class I'd get in my car and I'd drive back.
Right. And it
And
was
so-
just kind of like you're just showing up, doing the regular routine.
And then going home and
Right.
having my own sort of separate thing. But for people like that who want to be a part of Columbia a little bit more,
Right.
you know, can listen in. We'll have guests on who might, you know, be in their class. Maybe, you know, we'll have their professor on and they'll just feel that sense of like community and how everyone sort of knows each other a little bit and how everything's sort of tied together.
That's a really
And,
good, I like that. So when this goes on YouTube, you guys put in the comments who you want us to interview, or if there's any subjects you want us to tackle too. I mean, that's where this podcast is going to start off on, is the Columbia College YouTube page.
Yeah. Hopefully Spotify and other streaming
Hopefully,
services at
we're
one point.
we're working on it, man.
We're working on it.
Slowly but surely.
We got
That's how you
some-
win the race.
Yeah. Slowly but surely, that's a great way to put it.
Right.
So yeah, that's sort of what we want this podcast to become.
I dig that too, because like I said before, I feel a very strong sense of community here. Like I'm also a tutor, but I also work in the EOPS office in the Manzanita building. And if you guys don't know, EOPS stands for Extended Opportunities, Programs, and Services. And basically what that is a program to help students succeed. So basically they help students succeed with academic support, financial support, counseling support. We also lend out laptops, hotspots, and we give out grants. And just from working, you know, and go on the webpage and apply, because you never know if you could apply. And let me tell you, it's helped me out a bunch. But just from working in the EOPS office, it's kind of similar experience. I've gotten to know a bunch of my fellow students. I've gotten to make really good relationships with the administrative people, which, I mean, I've had, you know, everybody has a bad day and different problems like that. I mean, sometimes I just go in there and I just vent.
Yeah.
So it's
Same
like,
thing with tutors. Sometimes, even if you don't necessarily need help with like the homework,
It's just
you're just
venting,
stressed
dude.
out about the class, and you just
Yeah.
need to go in and have a tutor be like, "It's fine. Like I was there too." That's a lot
that
of the
was
times.
me last semester with stats.
Yeah, you just come in and you're like, I'm really. What we're told as tutors is you're not a content expert. You're not necessarily there to like give them all the right answers or
Right.
fill in what they don't know. You're there to help them through the class
Succeed.
and other things like how to manage their time, how
Yes.
to find certain resources.
Tons of cool, man. What do we call them? We just had a time management one not that long ago. Workshops.
Yeah.
Tons of workshops we have here in the AAC, which are like amazing and have helped me so much. Just be not even a better student, but just better at life.
Yeah.
Seriously, like yeah.
And that's what I want this podcast to be too. You
Straight
know?
up, it should be you know, like I said, man, like I've gotten to know so many people, and it's nice to walk around someplace and people are happy to see you. You know what I mean? Or you're like, oh, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Or hey, I know them. You know, it's cool. So I dig that. I'm with the mission statement.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. I'm glad to have you
I
on
back
board.
it 110%.
Very good, man. Yeah, it sort of happens. This will happen a lot, especially at Columbia, because it's kind of a small amount of students. Is that you'll have a class with someone,
Right.
maybe like you and I, Steve. We were in a public speaking class together.
That was a very fun class too. We had a blast.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
That class had a lot of good.
Honestly, that's how we also met River, who's the editor of the newspaper.
River was in that class.
Who?
Elizabeth.
Lisbeth, who is another great author on the newspaper.
Yeah.
She was also in that class. Samson, I forgot Samson. Yeah.
Samson was in that class.
You'll meet Samson soon.
Yeah.
Samson's one of our interviews for today, our episode 0.
Yeah.
Awesome dude.
So that'll happen where you're in a class with someone.
Yes.
Probably a few someones, like in our case.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you go on, like you meet them, you get to know them a little bit, but then where the real connections start happening is like, oh, they work at EOPS and I see them there. And oh, next semester I have a class with them too. And you start to build those connections and see, oh, like someone from my class a few semesters ago is now my tutor, or is now I'm tutoring them in something, or is like working the front desk, and you see them other places.
Right.
And it just starts to like this
Community.
map of how everyone is connected. So you
Yeah.
start to fill in your head, oh, these people know each other.
And I think that's like something you mentioned earlier about being able to like connect with people in a class, and it's kind of easier when you're in person.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I take in-person classes too. Like I've met tons of friends now, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And like you said, it you know, you'll see somebody in this class, you'll see them over there. And also it's nice to have somebody in the same class or somebody you know that's taken that class, and you can be like, hey,
Ask for
what does
advice,
this
yeah.
even mean?
Yeah, and that's what I want this podcast to be able to do. One of the main questions I want to ask our guests, at least specifically our student guests, is like, what are you involved in? Are you a student
Yeah.
worker? What classes are you taking? Like, you know, so people can start to get a sense of like, oh, this person's in all these places, and like, you know, I know them from this, but I can ask them about this, or I can
Like Armand knew I did sound.
Yeah.
There we go.
I
we
knew
got
he
the
did
podcast
sound,
rolling.
and I was like, boom, I gotta ask this guy about sound. So yeah, I think that's about it. Do you want to talk about anything else before we move on to our next section?
I want to say that got our bios out the way, and
Yeah.
we got our mission statement,
about
what
the
we
mission
what
statement.
we want this podcast to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this brings us to the next part of our podcast, interviews.
Yeah.
We have.
Oh, Samson, hello.
I'm Shauna. Hi. Nice
All
to
right.
be here.
Hey, I'm Armand. You already know that, but I just wanted to feel like I was part of that.
And I'm still Steve.
Yeah.
All right, so starting off, Samson, what are you doing here at Columbia College?
I'm here at Columbia College. I've been here for the past year. I am here because, well, one part of it was I really like foresty schools. I've always lived
Campus
in
is
foresty areas.
beautiful here,
Mm-hmm.
too. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
campus.
Yeah, that's my more basic answer that I give. Is I really like foresty schools. My high school was a very open high school. We were surrounded.
Where'd you go
by
to high
forest.
school at?
Pacific Grove High School down next to Monterey.
Oh,
nice.
man.
Yeah,
I love Monterey.
I bet that was
Monterey's
kind of foresty.
amazing.
Yeah, this place
Yes.
is a really nice campus.
it is. It is a nice campus. It was less nice during COVID because whenever we weren't allowed to go inside. We couldn't go into the cafeteria. So whenever it was raining, we just had to sit under the awnings while we had lunch. So that was pretty
You guys
cool.
get a fair amount of rain.
Yeah. So that was awesome during the winters. But apart from that, it was very fun. I like that campus a lot. People could have been better, but the campus itself was
Man,
nice.
people
and I
can be
was like,
better everywhere. I'll
That's
tell you
true.
that.
That's true. But then when I came up here to college, I wanted to have something similar. I didn't want to be in a big open space and no trees.
I hear that.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. So that was.
How'd you find out about Columbia?
That actually goes into the second part of my answer.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. No, that actually, I'm saying that because that's helpful.
need to calm
I'm saying
down.
that because it's helpful. I'm saying my grandma actually used to work here. You guys already interviewed her, Meryl Soto.
Oh.
We didn't get to that.
Oh, you did. Okay. She told me that you guys did.
Oh, well, we have her because she was part of the human library.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
so
and
Armand probably did. interview
We have
her.
I talked to her, but we haven't gotten her on the podcast. I think we're going to do that human library episode, you know.
As soon as we get the ball rolling.
sometime.
on
Okay,
Yeah.
that
so I
episode.
just exposed.
Yeah, come on.
Foreshadowing.
No, we
away.
we already kind of mentioned how there was like a lost weekend or two here at the Columbia Conversations.
That's okay.
October was a crazy month,
It
man.
really was. It really was.
Yeah. But my grandma's Meryl Soto. She used to be in the English department here at the college.
Oh, cool.
And because she worked here at the college when I was a kid, and I used to come up here every summer.
so you were already. Oh, that's awesome.
I got to see the city. I got to know what this area is like, and then I also got to see the school itself once or twice. And I was like, I really didn't want to go to MPC. That's Monterey Peninsula College. That's the
Okay.
college that's like 10 minutes away from my house down there in Monterey.
You know, nope, I'm leaving town.
I really didn't want to be there. One, because I wasn't a fan of the people there at the high school. Most of them. There,
I
of
hear
course,
that.
yeah, there were some wonderful people at the high school, but then there was a lot of people who, despite knowing them since I was in kindergarten down there in Monterey, I just did not get along with.
Yeah.
People suck.
People do suck. That's true. I knew I was going to fail if I went to MPC because I had no goals, no passions, no ambitions. I wasn't going to do anything during my time there. I was probably going to fail out of every single class despite knowing I was capable of getting good grades.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I needed to get a plan to get out of there, and I did.
Sometimes that change of scenery does it, right?
Yeah, and it was hard when I first got here. Living with my grandma, we had some interesting. It's a bit hard to live with some family members, especially when it's not used to the dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I got into the dorms, and now I'm here, and I'm very happy here, and I love it here.
Nice.
Armand also lives in
Yeah,
the
I live in the
too?
dorms. It's
Yes,
that,
I know. I hear you playing guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I do it really loud, sometimes not so loud. But that's, I mean, if you're talking about living in the forest, the dorms, man, are like right in the middle of the beautiful pine
Yeah,
trees that we
because you
have
could
out
just
here.
walk right out to any of the trails
Yeah,
out there.
it's
That's
really
very
nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you studying?
Yeah,
What are you
now that you're
Oh, what am I
here.
studying? I'm studying sociology.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went through a lot of different phases when I first got up here to the college. I came in here pretty sure I was going to be an English major because I was like, I'm capable of writing, I can do that, whatever. And then I decided that actually was not fun at all, and I didn't want to do that.
That's what me and Armand were saying that earlier. That is what community college is for.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, I changed
exactly.
my major 3 times, you know,
Yeah.
and I feel like a lot of people have.
I changed my career prospect ideas a lot of times. After I wanted to do writing, and like creative writing was my original idea. So
Right.
yeah. After that, I wanted to do therapy because I really like psychology.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a therapist. Then I was like, actually, I don't want to have to deal with adults in stressful situations my entire life.
Fair. Fair.
Oh,
So then
love
I
it.
wanted to be a therapist for children.
Nice.
And I started working at the child care center, and I realized, actually, after 4 months, I don't want to do that.
Well, at least like you're figuring it out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because how
I'm glad
much
that
would
I had
that
the
suck if you
experience.
had both
Yeah.
feet
Yeah.
in a major?
Yeah.
I'm
like
glad
10
that I
years from
learned.
now?
I'm glad that I learned my lesson.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then after that, I wanted to be a firefighter, and I considered joining the fire academy for a while.
Oh.
That is, man. That's a tough one.
I
too,
wanted
man.
to be able to help people, and that
Yeah.
was a really good place to go for that, especially because we have such a good fire program.
We have
Yeah,
an
we do.
amazing fire program here.
Should get some
Yes.
firefighters on at some point on the
That's
podcast.
that's a good
Should,
idea.
Yeah. And after that, sociology was after that. I took my first sociology class, and I wanted to be able to help people. So I was like, what if I was a college counselor? That would be pretty cool.
Nice.
I feel like you'd be really good at
Yeah.
that too. Honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's my goal now, and it's looking like I'll stick with it, which of course could obviously change.
You never know, but hey,
You never
yeah,
know.
that's
But
awesome.
I like sociology a lot, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I took a sociology class and it was a lot of fun.
It was very fun. Race and ethnicity too. I also want to like
I'm
focus
actually
on race
in
and
that
ethnicity.
class
really
right now,
good.
and I'm
It's a
having-
very
yeah,
good
yeah,
class.
it's very deep,
Yeah.
very very deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots to learn.
What about clubs? Are you in any other clubs besides
I
the
am.
newspaper
I'm in
club?
lots. I'm in lots of extracurriculars. So obviously the newspaper club, which we just joined. I'm the secretary director of publicity. I also hold
Which
those-
you were beyond helpful with the newspaper
Yeah.
club. We had our first official meeting, and it would not have been as smooth if it wasn't for Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm also the director of publicity and secretary for the GSA club,
Nice.
and yeah, that club is very fun. I've been there since last fall.
Okay.
I love that club. After that, I'm also the ASCC secretary. Student government is really cool.
How is that? Like, how does that operate?
Well, I've only been there a short while, but we do a lot of the chartering. We recharter clubs. We go talk at board meetings, which I actually find fun.
Yeah, really? Yeah, I was gonna say, how fun is that? 'Cause
I find
Well,
meetings
'cause I
fun.
like public speaking. I mean, it's, I'm communications guy, so like, I
Yeah.
figured that would be cool giving presentations.
I
and
don't
stuff,
actually give the presentations.
Oh,
That's
no?
all Tobias because Tobias is the president.
Right? Oh, okay, okay.
But I like taking notes on the meetings. I like going to the meetings. It's very fun. I did not ever think I would be a person who enjoyed meetings, but I do.
Board meetings.
Board meetings. Yeah, they're called that for a reason.
Yeah.
But
Oh, hey.
Soon we'll have a laugh button.
Yeah, we'll have a whole
Good.
soundboard.
yeah,
Good.
Shauna.
Yeah, hi, hello.
And we're gonna point the questions at you now,
Yes.
and we're gonna ask the same thing. Why are you at Columbia? How did you end up here?
Well, okay, so I did not do the best in high school. It was good and it was bad and it was everything in between. And so, I wanted a community college, and I was looking into a couple of different ones. There are some near the area that I my hometown area, but
Which is where?
Tracy,
Ooh.
Tracy, California. Yes.
Nice, Tracy.
Yes.
The lovely Tracy.
Yes. Side note, I've gotten into arguments. No, people have gotten into arguments with me about like whether or not Tracy Tracy's in the Bay Area or the Central Valley area.
It's not in the
like,
Bay Area.
Yeah, I know. But like people are really weird about like being right. Like, okay, I'm sorry I misspoke. Like, stop it. Anyways, yeah.
Moving
so
on.
I'm from Tracy. Yeah, exactly. From Tracy. I wanted to go to a community college, I wanted to get a higher education. I wanted to go to a community college, and I wanted it to be in like a decent area or like a nice area. And I don't know how I found Columbia College, but I did, and I'm happy
Nice.
about that. My dad helped me out with that, I think, like looking around for just decent colleges. And so yeah, I'm here. I thought the scenery was beautiful. I wanted to be here, and now I am, and so I'm also majoring in sociology.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
How do you
yeah.
like it so far?
I'm loving it. I love it a lot. People and society are very interesting to me.
Extremely
Extremely interesting. Yeah, like I think it's really fun. I think it's really cool. I came here with the intent of majoring in sociology, and I'm
Okay,
still
so this
doing
is
it.
your first major then?
Yes, my
Okay.
first and only major so far. When I go to when I want to so far I am
There's always time
debating.
to switch.
It's always the so far.
Yeah, 'cause
I was majorless for first couple semesters. so-
Yeah, I had an idea because I was like, okay, I like people, I like society, I like learning about like how institutions affect people and how people affect institutions, and I think that's really interesting. And also, I'm an overthinker, and so it's when there's so much material to look at and to read into and to analyze, it's perfect. And but I might want to like. When I want to transfer to a 4-year, I'm trying to figure out which 4-year I want to transfer to. So
Same here.
Yes, exactly. But once I do that, I'm thinking if I could double major, it could be in sociology and cultural anthropology, because like that sounds interesting.
That does sound super interesting.
that's
basically
What would you be
like-
doing with the other major?
I don't know. Okay, I know that cultural anthropology, from my understanding, is just very, very much about like societies of people and kind of like looking into that. And,
Like past societies or
current
like,
societies
current
as well, I
societies too?
think. Because I know that anthropology, in terms of like, there's like another sector of anthropology that deals with like bones and like.
Yeah, like kind of
Yeah.
like archaeology type
Yeah.
anthropology. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm forgetting honestly like what that entails, but I know that sociology and cultural anthropology do tend to overlap in a lot of interesting ways, and I just think that it could be really cool to learn all that I can about people and life. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
What do you do on campus here?
What do I do on
Yeah.
campus? So aside from the classes I'm taking, I just kind of hang out and chill.
Nice.
And I hang out in the library a lot, and I've been recently in like this tutor center, which is really cool.
The AAC.
The AAC.
Yeah.
And every Tuesday, I appear in the newspaper club.
Yes.
Hell
Hey.
yeah.
That's why we're kind of here right now, is because both of these, our guests, are members with us in the newspaper club.
And the newspaper
Yeah.
club. And
Heck
like I
yeah.
said, we had our first official
Very official.
Yeah.
clocked the
very-
minutes,
Yeah.
did a roll call.
Yeah.
It was we motioned and second motions and
And voted.
And
voted.
And people looked at our script for this podcast.
it was amazing.
Yes.
We feel official. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. We hit the ground running this
Yeah,
time.
very much
It
so.
took some time, but here we are.
Yeah.
You know? You can't rush perfection.
Yeah.
Well, so Samson,
Yes.
what do you do in the newspaper club?
Well, like I said, I'm secretary and director of publicity, which means that in terms of director of publicity, I make posters. If we ever make a social media page, I would be happy to run that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
honestly.
I didn't even
I
think
do
about
that for the GSA. Of course, I don't post very often because I don't get told. I wait for people to tell me to post, and then I forget to post myself. So it's kind of been sitting for a while. But we made it. It exists.
It exists.
And in terms of
does.
secretary, I'm going to start actually taking notes soon. River, I can help. I'm going to plan to help make like template for the notes, and then I'm going to start taking like professional looking notes for the newspaper club.
I thought it looked pretty legit last time, honestly.
Yeah, but that wasn't a notebook. I wanted it to be in print.
I get it. Yeah, no, I totally get it.
And for those who don't know, River, who you
River, yes,
mentioned,
River is our club
McCarthy,
president.
is the
She's
club president.
and
Yeah.
the editor, right? Like,
So
isn't like editor like the lead
yes
newspaper person?
and no. River does a lot of the editing. That job should definitely be a job for more people in the club as well, because like we do write a lot, and therefore we should all.
Yeah,
be
there's a lot of
participating.
stuff to go
but
over.
but like she definitely like pulls the weight of editing a lot of the time, so like the credit goes to her right now, but like it should be more of an Encompass job for sure, because she deserves more time than that.
True.
So yeah, but yeah.
I also wanted to mention one other. Oops. I want to mention one other thing that I am also planning to do with the club that I haven't started yet, but that I'm hoping to do by the end of spring. When I was in high school, I was in charge of the literary magazine for my high school. I compiled, like, organized, edited the literary magazine, which for anybody who doesn't know is like taking a bunch of creative works and compiling them all into this, I guess, is anthology the right word? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
collection.
anthologies where it's not like technologically, chronologically, but there's a bunch of different.
Just
Yeah.
a collection
Yeah.
of works.
Yeah, a collection of works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did that in my high school because I was the creative writing club president. That club, after COVID, did not go well because every member except me was a senior, so nobody was there, and I
Nobody was
wasn't
there to
popular
keep
enough.
The torch going, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't popular enough with my own grade to get enough people to join. So, so that didn't go great. But I'm happy now that we're doing the newspaper club, and Ocean, who is one of the tutors, is starting up the creative writing club.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah,
That,
so I'm going to be collaborating with Ocean.
that sounds like a fun club because I love writing
Yeah.
poetry and different things like that
Yeah.
too. So that sounds awesome.
And people will be able to submit their. We actually did art in my high school once, so probably also art, visual art, and writing into the literary magazine. And I'm planning on editing that with some help, probably from River, because I don't want to do it all. I want River's creative input. I could do it
Right,
myself,
right,
but I
right.
want help
River's
with
a
creative.
talented person. She really
Yes,
is.
Definitely.
River's very creative.
Yeah, she's really cool too.
We'll
Yeah.
get River on the show one of these
Yeah.
days.
You
One of these
better.
days we'll
Yes,
get her in here.
please.
What about, do you tutor anything at all?
Oh yes, I do tutor. I'm
We
a
were just talking about
sociology
tutoring
tutor.
earlier about
Yeah.
how that's kind of how the podcast got.
Started. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's how
a
the
lot
seed
of
got
a lot
planted
of
with-
tutors
in
just
the
sit around
AAC.
and kind of talk. And I feel like earlier I was talking about, so Shauna isn't a tutor.
No,
But she's
not.
an
Honorary tutor, we call them. A lot of people just are sort of drawn to the AAC just to
Yeah.
hang
It's a
out
fun-
here to
it's a
study.
fun place to be. We
Yeah.
have conversations like this.
Mhm.
There was, I'm going to be vague on purpose, there was a place on this campus that I used to hang out in a lot, and then something happened, or like, you know, drama happened, and so that place is now forbidden to me. I'm forbidding it. I'm forbidding myself from going there, and so now I hang out here, and that's pretty
Hey,
fun.
there you
Nice.
go. And we enjoy you here.
Yes,
Thank you,
we love having
appreciate
Shauna
that.
around. And
Thank you, thank
There's
you.
also other honorary tutors,
Mhm.
like our mom was
Yes.
saying. Like,
Megan.
it's just a
Yeah.
For
hip
those who
place to
know
be,
Megan.
guys.
Yeah, no,
Megan's
it's really
one.
cool. I have joined the boat that Megan is in. We're on the same boat now of
Yeah.
being honorary tutors.
Yeah.
You know?
Yay,
it's good
yay.
to just, especially like, you know, you can study in the library, but
Yeah.
studying in the AAC is nice because you can just be like, hey, you tutor who's like on shift but's not helping anyone, help me
Come
through
help.
this. Yeah,
Yes.
and even the social aspect, I think, like
Yeah.
people just come here and they hang out and they talk about things, and I feel like we, especially in the AAC, have very like good constructive conversations about stuff,
Yeah.
and that's sort of
Just a lot of support all around.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even if it's a subject you don't know, somebody's
Yeah.
here to like
Mhm.
work you with stuff, like help
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah.
it's always
Yeah.
good to have like that positive reinforcement. Like anytime I have something major to do, I come here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can always find a room to break off into, and then when you get a little burnt out on studying, you come out and have a conversation with somebody. It's fun.
It can be like, it's just like the environment can be very helpful and very like unintentionally / intentionally supportive, and I
Right,
think that's
exactly.
really cool. Like indirectly supportive, and I think that's really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very cool to just have that type of support system. Yeah, and then that's basically it. Just like us being here, us being the newspaper
Yeah.
club. It's a very nice club, and it's
What-
also a very.
What do you do
awesome-
in the newspaper club?
I am just a participator in writing occasionally.
A writer?
A writer.
Yeah.
This is what they call them. Yes. Yeah. I've been writing some pieces here and there.
Mhm.
I might need to write more pieces because I am in need of.
Yeah, what's that like? So all these clubs are, filled with students, and that's something that I'm not in a whole lot of clubs, but I've always wondered is how do you find that balance of, you're in this writing club that you're not getting any, real credit for, but you
Yeah.
still want to put time aside for that to write about stuff.
Yeah, so I have been a little burnt out. It's like that time of the semester,
Mhm.
Yeah, it
I was
is.
like, yeah, and so, but I personally just kind of like having, whenever I feel a creative outlet, I feel like it's just worth pursuing. And so I have a lot of ideas when it comes to writing that I need to kind of start like being active in. But yeah, I just.
What kind of stuff do you like to write? Like, is it more like, are you journalistic or
So-
kind of like Sam was saying, like creative or?
It would definitely be more creative. I have a lot of opinions on things. Like I'm kind of like I'm sorry. Okay, I like watching shows and I like watching movies and I like just kind
So
of.
you like reviewing them?
Yeah, basically,
Okay,
like,
critic. We got a
like,
critic with
kind of.
this.
Actually, yes, I do have a lot of opinions. I have like it's kind of funny because there was one time this movie that me and my friend watched, or me and a group of friends watched, and we were all debriefing about the movie afterwards. And one of my friends ended up leaving because he just like didn't like debriefing, but I was like, no, that's crazy. He's a great person, but like that drove me crazy because I'm like, every time I watch something, I have opinions on it. I want to talk about it. I want to be able to.
You should
tell
start a
people
movie
about it.
club.
I should.
Too many
Oh,
clubs.
too many clubs. I could just
The more clubs, the merrier.
I could just put this effort and these opinions and these analyses
Dialogue.
into the newspaper club. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. There's a couple of shows that I've been watching that I want to start
Shauna's
thinking
movie
about.
of the month. I don't know. Like,
Well, I mean,
that's
we could
cool.
have her on here for that.
that would
you
be
know,
kind
a
of
media,
cool. Like,
like
what
media
movie
of
have
the
you
week
watched
or
that-
something.
Yeah, that
that'd be
could
fun.
be fun.
That'd be a cool
That'd be
segment.
fun. Yeah, that could be nice.
There's a very interesting conversation I had with one of the tutors here, Sophie, about art critique. And Sophie is in the camp that she believes that if you don't understand why, or you can't articulate why you like art so much, then it's like almost less valuable
What?
than if you could just like appreciate
Way
art
to
and
throw
not.
Sophie under the bus.
Well,
there.
it was more like
Okay.
it was more like Sophie enjoys the engagement of
Yes, okay,
discussing
understood.
the art.
Right.
Like your friend who left when you were sort of
Yeah,
trying
okay,
to talk.
I
Like
see.
Sophie's in that camp where she likes the appreciation
Okay, yeah, I
and
see, I see.
expression of that appreciation more, and thinks that's more valuable than just like
Okay,
if you could
actually,
watch the movie and not talk about it
see,
and like
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite movie, Shauna? What's the favorite movie?
I don't.
I'm putting you on the spot. Favorite movie?
I don't have. Okay, Fear Street trilogies. The Fear Street trilogy. The three movies. The
There you
three
go.
horror movies. Great movies. Incredible plot. It's like a horror trilogy, and it's really cool. And like it's kind of like murdery and gory, but it also has a very good through line of like a plot, and that's very cool. Yes. Also, yeah, I am a fan of interacting with art very subjectively. Like, I mean, it's all about the way that art can like bring you emotion, or the way that it can make you feel grounded by like letting you have that room to like feel, And when it comes to like like analyzing art, I think letting yourself be subjective and like letting the art kind of speak to you in whatever way it does is very important.
Because it's all interpretation, so it's
Yeah.
actually cool to hear somebody else's
Yeah.
interpretation on
And
it.
like the intent of the artist, and like the way that audiences are able to like resonate with that art, they all matter in the context of like how that art was created or why it was created. It all matters like when talking about art, and it's like I like analyzing it in that way. I think it's pretty cool. I think we're allowed to be subjective and emotional about it because it's human. Yeah.
Very good. Very well put.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
how did you
favorite
two?
movie. No,
how
I'm
did how did you two end up getting involved in this club? Like, how does that process work?
I got involved in the club because I already knew River. We're currently in sociology together this semester because I'm the embedded tutor and River is just taking it.
What professor is that with? Is that with Spencer?
Spencer Potiker, yeah.
Oh man, I love Spencer.
Cool guy.
Spencer is awesome.
Spencer's
He's like my
awesome.
favorite teacher I've had ever.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, I'm in his race and ethnics class.
Yeah, I took that one also last
That's,
semester.
yeah, great
Yeah.
class. Very
I'm
deep.
hoping to become the embedded tutor for that class next semester also
Nice.
because I love it.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I was in the class with River. River just came up to me and was like, "Do you want to be a part of this club?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I was already part of a writing club and I loved it, so I'd love to actually, help somebody do it right this time."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What kind of stuff do you like to write, Sam?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned earlier creative writing clubs.
I used to be super into writing. Like, that was what I did all day, every day. Like, to an
Nice.
unhealthy degree, I think. Like, I was obsessed with it when I was in, anywhere from middle school to, like, middle of high school. I was just constantly writing. I have, like,
It's a great way to vent.
yeah,
You know what I
I've got,
mean?
I've got, like, thousands and thousands of pages of creative writing. All of it stories, all of it mostly the same story that I kept not getting right, which I'm still working on to this day. But yeah, I guess I've historically liked creative writing the most, but now that I've started actually developing opinions and real thoughts on things,
Nice,
now that I'm
yeah.
actually out in the world, then I'm actually starting to like opinion pieces as well and argumentative
Like
writing.
more journalistic.
Yeah, I
kinda-
like argumentative writing. I have
It's
a lot
fun,
of,
huh? Like
yeah.
proving a point, having evidence, and
Yeah.
like backing it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have lots of thoughts and I like sharing them. So far, the only thing I've uploaded to the newspaper club, because I've been really busy, has been an opinion piece about the election and why your vote matters. That was
Right.
in October. Because if politicians are spending like billions and billions of dollars trying to win your vote, why
Your
would they
vote
do?
matters.
Why would they do that if it didn't matter?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
think
wrote
that-
an entire article about that with like the statistics and stuff, and I've been realizing I really like researching and like putting statistics into my writing and proving stuff.
That goes
That's
along
really
with
cool.
sociology.
That's
Yes.
really cool. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so too.
So I'd say if anything, I probably like nonfiction writing the most now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Cool. I like that.
Well, I was just gonna mention how like that connection with River is sort of like very emblematic of the community that's on this campus. Is like you
Yeah.
get these like opportunities to be like in clubs just from the
Right.
people you meet in class, and that's sort of what I want this podcast to be like. Is like maybe no one knew about the newspaper club, and now there's this podcast and they listen to it and they're
Just
like, oh
building communities.
yeah, and so and Shauna, how did
Hello.
you end up?
Yes. Yeah. So okay, River. So I had that race in the city class with her as well, last semester, and her and I were both the people that kind of participated a lot in that class. Like we rose our hands a lot and stuff like that. And so basically we
All
ended up-
three of us were in that class. I just realized.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
Really?
Yeah, I was in that same
Yeah.
class.
Once again, building communities.
Exactly.
Real.
Yeah, we would participate a lot in that class, and we would just kind of like talk a lot, and so we kind of recognize each other more because we'd participate more. And so I remember over the summer she DM'd me and she was like, "Hey, Shauna, I know." Well, I forget what she said, but it was something like, "Hey, listen, like I'm starting a newspaper club, and I know you kind of like sharing your opinions. Like, how would you like to share these opinions like in a newspaper club?" And I was like, "Perfect." Or I could be that might not have been the way that she phrased it, but like she basically asked me like, "Hey, if you want to join this club, it could be fun." And I was like, "Oh my god, yes, please." And then it just kind of happened because like I asked her about it when the semester started. We've been figuring it out as like a club ever since, and so I was just kind of here. I feel very lucky to be one of the first people invited. So
Yeah.
Ooh,
Pretty cool.
I wasn't invited.
oh,
Yeah.
yikes.
Oh.
You just
not
showed
on
up.
my
I
level,
wanted to
like-
make a podcast, and I was like, who can I sucker into giving me a
Exactly.
podcast?
Exactly.
Steve got suckered.
Yeah, Steve big time got suckered into helping me.
Yes,
No,
yes.
I owe a lot to River to helping me out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's about all we had for you guys.
We'd like to thank our guests.
Yeah, we want to thank Shauna. Oh, I don't know if we got your full names.
Shauna O'Reilly. Yes.
And
Samson Jenner.
Samson Jenner.
All right.
For coming on.
Yeah,
we
thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate
thank
it.
you
Yeah,
very
and
much.
hopefully we can
Of
have you
course.
back.
The conversation.
The Columbia
The
conversation
Columbia
Yes.
conversation
that we
was
had.
Great.
Is there anything else you guys want to add before we wrap this up?
No, I think we covered most of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I'm
You
a fan
said
of
what you wanted to
art, fan of
say.
Writing. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Wow.
definitely have you guys back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to our
Thanks.
guests.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right.
That was a great interview.
Yeah. we're here to wrap up this first episode or
Yep.
0th episode.
Wrapping
We're
up
gonna call it up.
episode 0.
It's been fun.
It's been great. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, you should have heard the lost episode.
So what's to come next? What are we
Yeah.
going to be doing next episode?
Well, we are going to cover the Academic Achievement Center. We talked a bit about it in this episode, but we're going to try to really focus in on it next episode. Get hopefully some tutors on, maybe some of the.
And what is the AAC again? The Academic Achievement Center. What does that mean?
So that they cover the tutoring
Awesome.
on campus.
And if you ever need help, this
Yeah.
is going to be the episode for you.
Yeah.
We're going to interview a couple other tutors, maybe one of the directors of the AAC,
Coordinator or
coordinator.
assistant.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that one.
So we're going to talk about where you can find the podcast.
As of right now, you're going to find it on the Columbia College YouTube
Yeah.
site, the YouTube site, which is
I don't even know. Don't throw
That's
me
how
on the
prepared
spot
we
like
are.
that. What are you doing, man?
it's going to be on the Columbia College YouTube
Do
website.
which talk to them while I look this up.
Yes. So basically, what we're looking for you as an audience, we would love to get your feedback on the YouTube comments. Tell us how we're doing. Let us know if we suck. Tell us if we could do stuff better. Is there something you want to specifically hear about? Do you want to hear from a certain professor? Maybe a certain tutor that's tutoring a subject you're not sure about? You know, give us your feedback. What do you guys as our audience want to hear? What kind of Columbia conversations intrigue your ear?
Here is the YouTube channel, Columbia College Sonora, and that's the name of it. But the @ is Columbia College Sonora 5757.
Once again, that's
Columbia College Sonora 5757. 243 subscribers.
ooh, you guys can make it more.
Go ahead and
Please
subscribe to that, and you'll get our podcast. Go in the comments of those videos. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want. We want to get it onto Spotify and other streaming services.
Other platforms.
That's a plan.
That's a game plan. Hopefully that happens by next semester.
Yeah.
But please leave your comments on the YouTube. We need your feedback.
Yeah.
We need you.
We need. I mean, without you guys, we're just two dudes.
We're just
sitting
having
in
a
room,
conversation.
having a conversation. We're trying to go for every 2 weeks uploading.
Yeah,
a
basically
podcast every 2 weeks.
bi-weekly
Yeah.
podcast. And I think that should be sufficient. That way we can get feedback from you guys, set up interviews, and set up what the content you guys want to hear
Yeah.
too.
Thank you guys so much for listening. You know, this is something that
Episode 0.
This is episode 0. You know, we've been wanting to do this for a while, and we really hope you guys like it. We really hope. We have a lot of people in mind who want to listen and want this, so we really
We
want
look
to
forward to your future
Yeah.
support.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
All
Thank
right.
you, Steve.
Thank
for
you,
being on
Armand,
here.
for
I've
being
really
the
enjoyed my time.
mastermind.
Yeah, well, come on.
I'm just the
I'm no
dude behind the
mastermind.
scenes.
Yeah, good episode. We'll see
All
you
right.
again in 2 weeks.
Over and out.
Bye.